guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Heather, I'm a queer author of dark fantasy, and this video is just going to be my recommendations on how to break Preptober down into the weeks, so like the first, second, third and fourth week. And I will be vlogging my Preptober, and I'd love for you to come along on the journey with me. So this is for you to have an idea of where to start. So my previous video was also prepping for Preptober. So if you haven't watched that, I think it might be a good place to start for you as well. So I'll link that up in the cards and in the description box down below. While you're there, why not think about hitting that little red subscribe button, because it really helps my channel. And if you're also down there, why not hit the thumbs up button, because it really helps let YouTube know that other people might find this useful as well. So the first week I'm going to be looking at is mainly my characters. So really setting up the idea of my characters, and the so doing some character profiling and just getting to know them, so their names, their dislikes, their likes, a couple of other fun things that I find that aren't added to a lot of character profiles that I like. Your character's theme song, as well as one that came up with Brittany Wang as she was going through her On Wings of Dust and Ash serial that she's currently putting out in Kindle, is the Enneagram that your character fits into. And that to me is really interesting to think about. So I'll be applying that myself to my characters. I also do have a character profile video down on my channel, so that will also be linked in the cards for you if you'd like to check that out after this video. A big thing that I also do is I make my physical setting a character in and of itself. A landscape can impact a story a lot more than we think it can, and there are also certain genres that the setting in and of itself takes on a characteristic or presence, such as, because I'm writing in the dark fantasy genre, it's things like horror, like looking at people and looking at people's like innate natures and stuff. And sometimes people react very differently to what you expect them to in different situations. So the setting to me plays a big character role as well. So I'll also be diving into that. What I also like to do is choose your story idea. I do have a live stream on Friday, which is the first one, which is diving in and kickoff party, and I'll be sort of talking a bit more on how to come up with story ideas in that live stream. So hit that bell notification so you get notified when that's on, or just click on the link. I will list that in the comments and in the cards as well for you, and that you can set a reminder and it will tell you. Points of view is also a big thing that I like to cement at the beginning of a writing expedition now, just so I don't get myself muddled, as well as what tense you're going to write in. There are certain genres that have reader expectations on what point of view the story is actually told from. Not only is it first, second and third, but it's also omnipresent, so it's basically being narrated and everyone knows everything. The reader knows everything and you head hop a bit. Or is it limited so that the reader only finds out information as the book progresses and as the characters learn that information? So that is something to consider. I will be looking at doing that with the Twisted Garden saga. So for the next 2 months, that's really what we'll be doing, is laying my foundation work for that. So I'd love to have you on that journey. That's the first week. So looking at your setting, your points of view and your characters. And then I would look at doing your story structure in week 2, is looking at what structures you want to do and what story structures and plot outline that you work best with. So I will be looking second week of October about the couple of different plot structures I use. because I have looked at the Save the Cat. I've also done the 7 points structure, and I've also done the 27 chapter 9 block 3 act structure that Katie Tastic has an amazing video for on her channel. It is a couple of years old, but she goes into so much detail, and I think it's a great resource for everyone. So I will also link that down in the description for you. So that's what I think I will be focusing on, and it's probably a good place to start for you in the second week of October. In the third week, it pairs quite nicely with weeks 1 and 2, is I would look at doing your world building a bit further, because this will also help with any plot holes that you're struggling with, is how your word works in terms of the magic systems, any sort of rules that occur within your world. So if it is a fantasy or a genre fiction story, then it is something that you'll need to consider so that everything is continuous. Also, working with continuity, it is an idea that I have seen a couple of authors bring up recently, authortubers bring up recently, is actually looking at a timeline for your novel, just to make sure that if something does take 5 days, if they start on Monday, then they have to finish on a Friday. So you can't say, like, on Wednesday they did this, but they're in the city already, and it's like, well, it doesn't make sense in that way. Another way of also looking at it, the thing that you might want to do is draw any maps out that you have, whether that is in a contemporary and you just need to map out the main street of the town that your characters are in, or if it's an entire kingdom and you're in a fantasy world, how the kingdoms work and how it's all set out. So then you can sit back, and then by the end of week 3, you know most of your characters, you know the plot of your book, you know your magic systems and any other issues, and then you can start looking at so you'll know any plot holes that you have to now think of, magic systems, so then you can go off and do further research if you need some more time. So that's all done in the first. Some more fun ideas that I have, and that you can play with in the at any time, but I kind of try and save it for the last week, is I make sort of a mock cover and your title to make sure that they are up on the NaNoWriMo website. I will also link my profile down below if you would like to join me and be a nano buddy. So if you're doing NaNoWriMo proper way, then you'll have the 50,000 words. So you can also break it down in how many words roughly you need for each beat, or if you work in scenes, how many words roughly each scene needs to be. And then also making like aesthetic boards, and now that if you've used the idea of making a character theme song, then you can put them all into a playlist to have that together. So aesthetics, and that should complete your story binder all in one spot. I am starting to build mine right here. I will be decorating it, but this is the Twisted Garden binder that I'll be using. So I would love to have you along on the journey. They are my sort of breakdown of what you might want to be doing each week during Preptober, so you don't get overwhelmed with having to go from having no story idea or just a story idea all the way through to being ready. So come visit me on Friday. I have that live stream going, and I'll be talking about how to get story ideas, but also how to know that your story idea is strong enough or has enough meat in it to produce at least a 50,000 word story. So I would like to thank you for coming and saying hi, and let's use our voices to promote positive change in the world. Thank you, and goodbye!